10. Crazy things scientifically proven to make you happier. 10. Speed up your thinking. A study conducted at Princeton and Harvard found that thinking quickly can cause feelings of elation. The subjects of the study would watch television and fast forward, quickly come up with solutions to problems, and read ideas and move quickly on a computer screen. According to MmegiOnline, the results showed that participants experienced a feeling of elation, felt more creative, and, in some instances, more powerful and energetic. There's also some evidence to show that the pleasure-feeling chemical dopamine may be released when we think faster. 9. Get between 6 and 6.5 hours of sleep a night. A good night's sleep can do wonders for you. The Daily Mail reported a study where experts examined the lifestyles of 4,000 adults and asked them to rate their happiness on a scale of 1 to 5. The people who got between 6 and 7 hours of sleep a night ranked the highest. 8. Drink alcohol. Now we're talking. A group of scientists based in England created an app to help them determine if happiness levels are directly associated with drinking. The app would ask users throughout the day how happy they were on a scale of 1 to 100. The data they collected shows that drinking increases happiness levels for a short period of time, but does not contribute to people's long-term happiness. Also, drinkers who become reliant on alcohol to boost their happiness tend to become less happy over time. So tossing back a few can brighten your outlook for a while, but remember to always drink in moderation. 7. Have morning sex. Here's another good one. It's a well-known fact that people who have a healthy sex life experience increased happiness, but morning sex gives people an extra boost. Dr. Debbie Hebernick, an American research scientist and sex advice columnist, says, having sex in the morning releases the feel-good chemical oxytocin, which makes couples feel loving and bonded all day long. Now this next one you're going to think I'm making up, but there's actual scientific evidence to support this. They've only tested this on women, but I don't see why this wouldn't also make men happier. Number 6. Swallow semen and have unprotected sex. Yeah, you heard me right. A study has found that when semen enters the body orally or through unprotected sex, the mood-altering chemicals contained within seminal fluid reduce depression, increase affection, and help you sleep. The State University of New York surveyed the sex lives and mental health of 293 women on campus, and the study found that the women who regularly had unprotected sex were less depressed. Semen contains mood-elevating estrone, oxytocin, cortisol, melatonin, antidepressant prolactin, thyrotropin-releasing hormone, and serotonin. The researchers also asked respondents to complete the Beck Depression Inventory, which is commonly used to measure mood disorders. The results revealed that sexually active women who never use condoms showed significantly fewer depressive symptoms than those who always or usually use condoms. The findings, which were published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior Journal, also found women who described themselves as promiscuous yet used condoms were just as depressed as women who practiced abstinence. The team says this suggests it is semen, not just sex, that makes women happy. Here's another great tip. Number 5. Listen to music from the happiest time in your life. Music affects the brain in an interesting way. It can remind you of the places you have listened to it before. So when were you the happiest? Play the music you loved from that period of time and it can transport you to that happier place. According to Alex Korb, a postdoctoral researcher in neuroscience at UCLA and the author of The Upward Spiral, one of the strong effects of music comes from its ability to remind us of previous environments in which we were listening to that music. That's really mediated by this one limbic structure called the hippocampus, which is really important in a thing called context-dependent memory. Let's say college was the happiest time of your life. If you start listening to the music that you were listening to at the time, it can help you feel more connected to that happier time in your life and makes it more present. Number 4, get a pet. I know my dog makes me a lot happier, and most people who have pets love their pets. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep them around. Researcher Alan McConnell found that the social support provided by pets is comparable to social support from a fellow family member. McConnell also found that pet owners tend to have greater self-esteem, are less depressed, and less lonely. Studies have even shown that pet owners exercise more than people without pets, and exercise in itself has been proven to make people happier. 3. Spend your money on experiences and other people rather than material possessions. Several studies have shown that spending money on experiences instead of material possessions can make us happier. Experiences tend to satisfy higher order needs, specifically the need for social connectedness and vitality, a feeling of being alive. One study conducted by the Journal of Positive Psychology surveyed people before and after they made purchases. and they found that people who use their money for experiences rather than material possessions reported being happier. The experiences brought them greater well-being, and they considered them to be a better use of money. Research has also shown that people are generally happier after they spend money on other people. When we give to other people, it makes us feel good about ourselves, and feeling good about ourselves makes us happier. Also, giving to other people helps us build stronger social relationships, and people with stronger social relationships tend to be happier. 2. Smile and wear sunglasses. The brain isn't always that smart. Sometimes your mind is getting too much info and it isn't sure how to feel, so it looks around for clues. This is called biofeedback. Neuroscience researcher Alex Korb says, biofeedback is just the idea that your brain is always sensing what is happening in your body, and it reviews that information to decide how it should feel about the world. You feel happy and that makes you smile, but it works both ways. When you smile, your brain can detect this and say, I'm smiling, that must mean I'm happy. So happiness makes you smile, but smiling can also produce happiness. In fact, research shows smiling gives the brain as much pleasure as 2,000 bars of chocolate or $25,000. Now you're wondering why I said to wear sunglasses. Well, bright light makes you squint, and squinting looks a lot like being worried. So the biofeedback produced from squinting can cause your brain to misinterpret your mood as being unhappy, and you don't want that. So next time you go out, remember to smile and bring along your shades so you can look cool and be happy. 1. Get into a fight. As far as your brain is concerned, fighting is just as awesome as sex. Scientists hypothesize that aggressive behavior triggers the release of dopamine, which is commonly associated with the pleasure system of the brain, providing feelings of enjoyment and reinforcement to motivate us to do or continue doing certain activities. This theory was tested in an aggression study on mice. They began the experiment by pairing up a home male mouse and a female mouse in one cage, and then they had another cage full of intruder male mice. The researchers would remove the female mouse and replace her with one of the male intruder mice, and the home mouse would then beat the crap out of the new intruder. Then they took the intruder mouse out of the cage and put him in his own cage, which the home mouse was able to open at any time by pressing a button. The home mouse would repeatedly press the button and beat the intruder mouse mercilessly for taking his girlfriend. After several rounds of this, the researchers injected the home mouse with a drug that blocked the release of dopamine, and he stopped attacking the intruder mouse immediately. The home mouse's aggression was producing the hormone, and he was persistently attacking the intruder mouse to keep the dopamine flowing, much like a drug addict pursuing his next fix. Without the reward of dopamine, he no longer had any incentive to fight, and he just had to accept the fact that his girl was gone. Getting your ass beat probably isn't going to make you feel good, but there does seem to be some evidence that fighting can lead to short-term happiness due to a release of dopamine in your brain.